Welcome to the Luncheon edition of news as produced by Triple N. For today, Wednesday, 17th August 2022. The Luncheon edition comes to you through the auspices of Flow. Coming up in the headlines, locally, authorities are on the ground to complete fire investigations. Regionally, in St. Lucia, former inmates get a shot at starting their own businesses. Internationally, Kenya election results null and void, says Odinga. And let's not forget, we have the latest in sports. Blackwood returns as West Indies make forced changes for CJ United ODI series versus New Zealand in Barbados. I'll have the details for you when I return.
Northern News Network. First in news, reviews, and interviews.
Now more than ever, Flow is working hard to keep you connected to the things that matter most: your family, your work, and your favorite entertainment. We are also providing Flow Study free of charge so students can stay connected and up to date with their schoolwork. And because your safety is our highest priority, you can manage your account from the safety of your own home through the MyFlow app. We are here for you, keeping you connected.
Welcome back. I am Don Ezra Francois. The relevant authorities are doing their groundwork to determine the cause of Monday night's fires. Members of the Royal Grenada Police Force, the National Disaster Management Agency, and government officials were present on both sides of the fires to conduct assessment so that necessary assistance can be given to the families affected. Deputy District Coordinator of NADMA, Tonya Hyacinth, and Superintendent in charge of the Fire Department, Glenroy Corian, outlined the roles in the investigation.
Last night we had the presence of our District Coordinator, Mr. Danny, was here on the ground. So we really want to thank our district for being present. As we always say, disaster is everyone's business, and it's good to see the community coming together to assist the persons who have been affected. We are here just to do our initial concerns of seeing what's happened. We do know that Ministry of Housing and Social Development is already on the ground, and they would be the one directly responsible for the action of what takes place next and in terms of helping the families going forward. So we are here to just do our support.
Yes, Victoria got the call. We had backup our sorters, fire and wharf, and it is clear. Seen, as said before, it could have been worse. From the fire point of view, investigation is still ongoing as to the cause of it. As to the origin, it is clearly identified. We have that covered already. But for who set or who caused the cause of it, we don't know. We shall investigate, and as soon as we will let you all know.
Commendations were given to the villagers by Senator Quince Britton in helping extinguish the fire. He also pledged to work with the government in ensuring the families are supported so that they can return to some sort of normalcy.
When I got here, there's a number of onlookers as well as the community guys within the community helping with buckets, hose, and they have to be commended. They did a tremendous job, trying to get the fire under control, because had it not been for them, the situation could have been even worse. Here we have 3 dwelling houses that is completely destroyed, and the other houses in the surrounding areas. That's 1, 2, 3 other houses. Well, 4 other houses got partially touched.
Minister Dennis Cornwall is selected acting Prime Minister of Grenada until August 19, 2022, because Prime Minister Honorable Dickon Mitchell is among regional heads of government who are currently in the Bahamas participating in a 2-day conference where climate change issue is a main topic on the agenda. The meeting, scheduled for August 16th to 18th, 2022, will provide an opportunity for Caribbean leaders to discuss critical areas for harmonized action ahead of the 27th UN Climate Change Conference COP27 in Egypt in November. Prime Minister Mitchell will return on August 19, 2022, said a news release from the Government Information Service. The release did not say when the Prime Minister left the island or the other members of the entourage who accompanied the Prime Minister to the Bahamas. This is the second time that Cornwall, who is a Minister for Infrastructure and Physical Development, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation, and Transportation, is acting Prime Minister while Dickon Mitchell is out of state. His first appointment was in July, when the Prime Minister attended the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank Monetary Council meeting in St. Lucia. The acting appointment was published in the Government Gazette 2 weeks after the appointment. This concludes the local segment of the news as produced by Triple M. The sports is up next.
First, fast, and factual. You are totally covered by Triple M.
Now more than ever, Flow is working hard to keep you connected to the things that matter most. Your family, your work, and your favorite entertainment. We're also providing Flow Study free of charge so students can stay connected and up to date with their schoolwork. And because your safety is our highest priority, you can manage your account from the safety of your own home through the MyFlow app. We are here for you, keeping you connected.
Good day, sporting fans. I am your presenter, CJ. Regionally, in Cricket West Indies CWI Senior Men's Selection Panel on Tuesday announced changes to the West Indies squad for the 3-match CG United One-Day International Series against New Zealand, which starts on Wednesday, 17th August. All 3 ODIs will be day-night matches played on the floodlights at Kensington Oval, with the 2nd and 3rd CG United ODIs on 19th and 21st August. From the original squad, left-handed batter Shimron Hetmyer is unavailable due to personal reasons. All-rounder Kimo Paul is ruled out with an injury, and left-arm spinner Gudakesh Moti has failed to recover from the hand injury sustained during the CG United series against India last month. The replacements are middle-order batter Jamin Blackwood and leg spinner Yannick Carrier. Blackwood is called up for the ODI squad for the first time since 2015. Carrier earns his first squad call-up for the West Indies after being promoted from the West Indies A squad that has been playing against Bangladesh. Carrier captained the West Indies emerging players team that won the CG United Super 50 Cup, then the Colonial Insurance Super 50 Cup in 2019. Odin Smith, the seam bowling all-rounder, has been added as a reserve. CWI lead selector, the Most Honorable Desmond Haynes said, Hetmyer has to attend to a family matter in Guyana. Unfortunately, Moti is not yet able to rejoin the squad and Kimo is struggling with an injury. However, it provides an opportunity for Yannick Carrier to get a chance. He is someone that has been performing well on the circuit, and we feel now is the right time to integrate him into the senior team setup. Odin Smith has been added to the back of some notable performances in the T20 series. He has displayed all-round ability to change games, and we look forward to his continued development. The 3 matches are West Indies' last remaining 3 fixtures in the ICC ODI Super League, as West Indies aim to automatically qualify for the 2023 ICC World Cup in India. West Indies will be seeking to win the CG United ODI series to secure one of the automatic qualification places reserved for the top 7 teams in the ODI Super League table, excluding host India. Full squad: Nicholas Puram, captain; Shai Hope, vice captain; Jermaine Blackwood, Shamar Brooks, Yannick Carrier, Casey Carty, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Brandon King, Kyle Mayers, Jaden Sills, Kevin Sinclair, traveling reserve Odin Smith. On the international scene, in tennis, British number 1 Emma Raducanu put a damper on Serena Williams' farewell tour after thrashing the American great in the Cincinnati Open first round. William 40 plans to retire after the US Open, which starts August 29th, and lost 6-4, 6-0 in what is said to be the penultimate event after her career. The 23-time Grand Slam champion lacked sharpness, and her 19-year-old opponent punished her in a composed display. Reigning US Open champion Raducanu will play Victoria Azarenka in round 2. I am so grateful for the experience to have been able to play Serena and for our careers to have crossed over, said world number 13 Raducanu, who played superbly with her defense of the Grand Slam title in New York. Everything has been so inspirational, and it was a true honor to share the court with her. And that's what's for you. I was your presenter, CJ. Thank you for listening.
This commercial break. International news will be next.
Now more than ever, Flow is working hard to keep you connected to the matter most. Your family, your work, your favorite entertainment. We also provide Flow Speak so students can stay connected and up to work. And safety is a high you get your out from the safety of your own home through the MyFlow app. We are here for you, keeping you connected.
On the international scene, Kenya's veteran opposition leader Raila Odinga has urged his supporters to maintain peace as he rejected an election result, announced amid chaotic scenes in favor of his rival William Ruto. Here are the details.
Kenya's veteran opposition leader Raila Odinga has urged his supporters not to take the law into their own hands, as he rejected the country's presidential election results as null and void.
Our budding democracy suffered a major setback. As a result, Kenya faces a grave legal and political crisis as a result of the actions of Mr. Wafula Chebukati.
Odinga was making his first comment since Deputy President William Ruto was declared winner of the August 9th vote. That announcement was made on Monday by the head of the Electoral Commission, Wafula Chebukati. But moments earlier, his deputy, Juliana Cherera, and 3 other commissioners had disowned the results, describing the final tallying process as opaque. The 4 officials appeared again on Tuesday to stand by their decision.
The Commission has to process the results before they are declared and announced by the chairperson.
Odinga broadcast those comments before taking to the stage on Tuesday. He went on to say that Monday's results must be quashed by a court of law and that all constitutional and legal options available would be explored.
Such blatant acts of impunity can be a threat to the security of our country.
The chaotic scenes on Monday raised fears of fresh violence in a country with a history of post-election bloodshed. Odinga has faced calls from home and abroad to resolve any disputes through the court. Kisumu, an Odinga stronghold in western Kenya, saw clashes between protesters and police overnight. But on Tuesday, quiet had returned to the street.
Staying in touch with what happens in the region means you're staying with Triple N. Congratulations on making the perfect choice.
Now more than ever, Flow is working hard to keep you connected to the things that matter most: your family, your work, and your favorite entertainment. We are also providing Flow Study free of charge so students can stay connected and up to date with their schoolwork. And because your safety is our highest priority, you can manage your account from the safety of your own home through the MyFlow app. We are here for you, keeping you connected.
Welcome back to Regional Developments. In St. Lucia, the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and People's Empowerment is about to roll out a micro-enterprise program for former inmates. We get more in this report.
Through the St. Lucia Social Development Fund under the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, former prison inmates interested in turning their lives around can take advantage of the micro-enterprise program. It would help them engage in constructive activities to contribute positively to society, provide gainful employment, and prevent repeat offenses. This initiative will also help them to bypass the bureaucratic red tape that is sometimes associated with the banking sector when trying to obtain small business financing.
Of course, we have micro business as a way of having persons to participate in livelihood. You know that our banking sector is sometimes it's difficult to get poor persons to be part of the banking sector. You know, and they are not part. A lot of our poor people are not part. If you ask a few persons in some communities that are poor whether they have a bank account, they'll tell you no. It's difficult for them to get a loan. It's difficult for them to go and get, to get started. So when a young man leaves, Bordelais, and he has aspirations, he wants to turn his life around, we, Ministry of Equity, believe we must provide an opportunity to inspire young men at Bordelais that you do not have to be, a repeat offender.
The participants will be identified by members of their communities who, based on their knowledge and understanding of these individuals, express confidence in their ability to take full advantage of these opportunities.
Failing in an endeavor is not a problem. Not trying is the problem. And therefore, I do not want for us to quickly ask, will it be successful? If one of them is successful, this is a worthwhile undertaking. It will serve as inspiration for others.
According to Minister Henry, it's about approaching social engineering at all levels of society.
This wraps up the Luncheon edition of news as produced by Triple N. For today, Wednesday, 17th August 2022, I have been your presenter, Don Ezra Francois. Thank you for joining us.
From many distant lands, our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains, through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up your telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socio-economic issues, or any topical issue of the day. We speak about it. And most of all, you have the opportunity to introduce your own subject matter. And we always want to welcome our brothers in the diaspora and any from CARICOM and anyone who is listening to us on social media or the internet. Welcome to our program. Now today, while we wait your call, we have a caller on the line, and caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Yes, you hear?
Go right ahead, we're hearing you.
So, sometimes I like to see, most people say that, water don't waste. So I have this, I think of what it is really the meaning. Now, I heard people, Grenadian make statement, saying that, yes, we need more dams in our country here to convey water. But I would say this is not the main thing. What we need is a people to educate ourselves to use what we have wisely. Because you see, if you say you need more, we use what we have, we waste, we do all kind of things, and they say water don't waste. What is their meaning? So what I know, water is life. Without water, we cannot exist. So we have to use our things in an educated way. We don't waste. Now, take for instance, before the now also people came and put their meters, and I was feeling happy about it because some people had the water running all day, all night without no regulation, and some people have to say they blame the government. They say all sorts of things. Government have to pay. Well, ask them who is the government? So I say all of this to say we have to use what we have wisely. I heard people say, "Me won't drink the river water. Oh, it's nasty." Well, I asked them. I said, "Who is dirty in it? Is it Grenadian? Is it not?" And another thing, amazing. Yes, we have to educate ourselves to use our water wisely. Now we come to cleaning. The word cleaning, you don't always have to have water. Clean your yard, clean yourself, clean the street. There are many ways you clean without water. So all of these things, I found that now also when I see the things that they're doing, I compliment them. I say, you're all doing very good work. They say, "Mr. Only you are here saying that." We have to compliment people for good things. Just as your program is to enlighten Grenadians, which all wouldn't like to hear the things that you were speaking about, real FM. So what I want to say all this to say, we have to take care of what we have. Most of the people they say we have river, they won't drink water, but I say no. Some of them they use their can, they throw set of things in it, all kind of fine, and this thing going down, and it not only affecting people, the mammals, the things that is in the river, they kill it, they do all sorts of things. not knowing that is we run, we keeping back our own production, things we should, the basic of things which we need. Most we need and we don't take care of what we have. So the thing is not that we want more dams, but it's to educate ourselves to use what we have wisely. There are people, they talk about government don't giving them water. Two, they live close to the road. They could just run online. You give them the state government don't giving them, well, right? They have to take off the stand and all sorts of things because when they go pipe is there, they take it, they make the bathroom, they do all sorts of things with it. And the same water they have to do. So I say all of this, Mr. P. I don't want to keep you that long. So I think that what I said, it was a blessing. It makes sense to religion. We have to think of what we're doing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes. Thank you, caller. And I welcome that call to start that program because electricity, telephone, water, and internet is second to none, is better than most, and comparable with the best in the Caribbean. Over 90% of Grenadians have access to water. And yes, NASA has been doing a very good job. And I agree with you. The issue is education. To make our people proud of our people, have confidence in our people, and don't just jump up criticizing without reason. Just agree with that. And we have one of the best network of roads in the region, and the quality of the roads are relatively good. And we have the most landowners in the region. And our teacher to children ratio is better than most countries, most of the developed countries. It's better than England and America. And government spend about 11% of the GDP on education. Yes, we call on the line. Cut point.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my
Luncheon. And always on your program, I always listen to culture man, and even on Shaggy program, calling upon people to go and plant something in the garden. And what is it? I listen to culture man on the program where you're saying that okay, then people that they say, oh, let's go and plant banana and yam and put it too. Let go. And in the manner you're saying it, go and plant anything like if it's a crime. Alright? Yes, I believe everybody should plant something. You're planting something, to get food. That save you more money that you have. Alright? I don't see that as a crime. Alright? So I do everybody should plant something. Not only those them who was working with the government and they get fired should plant anything. Because he was one that was always encouraged to plant something. We come in and they say, would they work with the government? It's a time to go in and plant something. Plant anything. So you cannot spend on whatever contribute to planting. And all the people right now they don't have a job. They manage you say for people like that's like if that that is wrong. So I want people to be careful what you say to people. Right?
yes,
I'm not saying what you're saying to complain, but in the manner you were saying it, like it was something negative was
I
okay.
think it was principally if you use the job one plant you will make like it will not be able to but you have the most land owners
Exactly.
and then you will have if you lose your job.
Yeah.
It's a serious economic
But why would I so that you might be able to think you get the land you might have.
it's going to take some time to grow so you might that's our teeth.
Okay. I believe every hungry mouth has been fed.
But every hungry mouth will be fed. You either feed them and hold you up and get. This is why people put so much emphasis on the unemployed to try to provide for them.
Try to provide for them.
And that's why government Grenada had the strongest social safety net program.
But then everybody that right, and the government is there to help the people, especially people who are working.
The government can find out the to mention. This is one thing that we did. But how to give them a promise people make them permanent, and fuck the cockroach. No, that is not.
Green or yellow? Green and red. Let's say green and red. That party, one party color green, one party is red. The, the red and green, that's red on contract. They will see
But
what
call it the government, that the party that win the election, the National Democratic Congress. People vote by secret ballot. There are people win green clothes that don't vote for green. And there are people who win yellow clothes that don't vote for yellow. That is why the NP surprise lose and the NP surprise they win. So ballot, when you go and vote, is secret ballot. So the government have no constitution, no reason, no right to pick up no lease and go and seek vengeance and his children. I don't agree with them.
Because what I'm saying, let's say like the person at home, this son might be could end up coming and be your son-in-law, right? And he ain't working, and then so that he could end up being your son by he end up getting pregnant, making sure one of your daughter, and he not working. You go tell him, well, go and get a work.
You plan potato, sir. Thank you.
You understand? So,
yes, thank you, Color. Yes, we on the ball. You see the ball. We like when people start to open and back even before we start, because we never really have a subject matter that we speak on. One of the issues that I think I will speak on in the future is Quality Producers Grenada Limited. Every cocoa farm Grenada ought to know what is called Quality Producers Grenada Limited. Now, this company has 600 shares. They authorize 600,000 shares. That look at 600,000 shares. 150,000 shares, they prepare the shares for the farmers. But a farmer could only buy 3 shares. So if you divide 150 by 3, I think you will get 50,000. But Grenada don't have 50,000 farmers. And the farmers could only buy 3 shares at $10 a share. I understand you could only buy the shares in St. George, not in no other cocoa facilities. Now, if you put aside 150 shares for 50,000 farmers, but in Grenada you have 3,000 farmers, what is the trick you're trying? What is the trick you're trying? That's why I always call on economists and accountants and lawyers and teachers and senior public officers and senior police. These kind of people who bright. I always ask them to sometimes spend some time and seek the interest of your parents. Because I know most of your parents, they had pigs rain. They had some little rum shop, they turned juggies, mixing water in the room they're giving us. But we saying that she children away studying and she want the money for her children. The farmers invested money in the children. And now it seems to me that Quality Producers Grenada Limited, I don't know if it's a scam, I don't know if it's a Ponzi scheme, I don't know if they're genuine, but there is a lot of questions that need to be answered. Now, these people on the Cocoa and Nutmeg Association, they're not exposing themselves to the media to ask questions. They're not. I heard Real FM beg them on their knees. And Real FM is the only radio station, not the only, but the radio station in Grenada that have championed agriculture the most. They have always invited Cocoa Association to come on the program. I don't know if it's a new trend, but I noticed that the government today decide not to have press conference with the regularity that we are accustomed with for the last 9 years. Now, Cocoa Association, somebody must answer this question. I do hope farmers will start to ask this question. Now, if the Cocoa Association belonged to the farmers, and for years you did not give them back pay, and some of them say they didn't get back pay because you invested in chocolate, and now that you have a chocolate industry, you decide to sell shares for them. You prepared 150 shares for the farmers, and they only could buy 3 shares. And you prepare shares for 50,000 farmers. But I don't think you are 3,000 farmers. Now, I wonder if it's the Minister of Agriculture. You was on this board. You grew up in agriculture, and you was on this board. So you better go and find out. You better start to find out. Because I'm a farmer, I'm qualified to ask this question, you know. I'm in Tongland. I'm a nutmeg farmer. I'm a cocoa farmer. I produce certain vegetables, including potato. I'm also a livestock farmer and a beekeeper. So I qualify to ask these questions. Why is it you're making it so difficult? After you make these things that look to me, that seems to me as a Ponzi scheme or a way to trick the farmers, you even refuse to make it accessible to them. So they must go to St. George's. You have not said to them, since it's $30, we could take the money when you sell cocoa so that more of them would get it. Although you prepare for 50,000 farmers, I guess you're hoping is less than 3,000 that might buy. And because of the difficulties you are creating for the farmers to access these 3 shares, at the end of the day, I wouldn't surprise if you have about 1,000 farmers. Now, I ask myself over and over and over, why the farmers' representative in Grenada have a history and not seeking the interests of the farmers. Government had to step in the 70s to make it mandatory for the associations to accept farmers once they had nutmeg, once they had cocoa. The government said once you have cocoa to sell and you have land, you're a farmer. Because at that time, they said not all who selling nutmeg is nutmeg farmers. You take the money you send in Barbados because you didn't want it in Grenada. You remember the Calypso, where the nutmeg money? The government of Grenada under Eric Gary gave lands. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother.
Very nice topic. Very nice topic. The Cocoa Association, of which I was an employee of it, said to farmers that they have share, they would get a share. But the Cocoa Association was able to sell shares to one of the members, not one of the person who was Mr. Boric, then let's make it clear. Mr. Boric was able to sell part of his share before the association. No. I don't know if you're aware of that. Mr. Boric, who was a partner with the association, sold, he had 30% of shares, and he sold 10% of it. And after he sell it, the association would get to do that. They say they put something in place now so that he can, no board member or nobody could sell without paying.
You have shares in this quality producer?
No, I don't have shares. But I'm telling you what I know happened. The same farmers that goes to meeting every week, every time they have meeting, can't tell you the real true value of their share yet. They cannot tell you. And I've not heard a statement from the Cocoa Association explaining how you qualify for shares yet. They may have said it in the area meetings, but they have not given the public. Plus that, and all the boards, government supposed to have 3 representatives. and we have never heard a government representative clear of what explained. And about 2-3 years ago, the Cocoa Association advertised in the newspaper and the Banneker that they had made $35 million in the 5 years. How much of that went to the farmers? How much of that went to the farmers? And the farmers, when they go to meeting, they don't ask those questions. That document was written by the accountant of the board.
Farmer, Colin,
yeah.
At this stage, the farmers need to find out what is Quality Producers Grenada Limited. If it is a genuine company, if it is a Ponzi scheme, if it is fake, or if it is trickery. And they're supposed to get the managers of the board, perhaps to corporate conference or something, or ask some journalists to investigate this thing. As far as I understand, they have until the 28th of September. If you don't get shares, you can get again. But they're making it extremely difficult for the farmers. The farmers have to go to St. George's. So although they cater for 50,000 farmers, they only have about 3,000 cocoa farmers.
It might be less than
right.
that now.
And not all cocoa farmers are qualified.
Right.
I mean, why is it that our own people have to sit down and plan to do this thing? That is what I don't understand, I understand an individual trying to trick me. Nothing is wrong with that. All of us fall short of the glory of God. But when a group of people come to, why trick people?
I would have known that when I used to get a work, 1 and 2, I represented different workplaces. I represented the Wilson Estate, I represented Black Bay Estate, I represented Bocage Estate as a farmer going to meetings in a delegation.
I think this is a thing that a few farmers perhaps should go to a lawyer office and pay them, or to pay somebody who could do research. Sometimes ordinary individuals on the street with a good phone could do research and ask them, I'm giving you a little change. Research this company for me, Quality Producers Grenada Limited. Because it seems that the board members, and remember, we have a farmers representative. And remember, the Minister of Agriculture today, either the Minister of Agriculture, well, yes, the Minister of Agriculture and one of the ministers in Finance and Planning, these people must know what's going on. Yeah. You cannot. So wait, now this guy's joking. I intend to continue. I gave up on the board a lot of years ago. But
the point you're making there is so valued, because I'm saying I have not met a farmer that have shares yet.
It's called. I have. I'm reading from farmers who buy shares here. I'm not calling farmers names. I read farmers who buy shares, and I want to buy a share, but I'm not. I have no intention of going to St. George's to do it. So if they do not, if you have no intention of making the shares available to farmers in the rural areas and the country, I will not have a share. I don't expect any financial return for that. But I'll buy it for the record's sake.
We don't even know if the board can buy up the rest of shares.
But even though you ignore somebody, and normally I do ignore that. The board is 600,000 shares, they price it. But they profit 150 for the farmers, and one farmer could only buy 3. So I think that's what if the 3 by 150,000, you might get 50,000. So that means they expect to sell shares to 50,000 farmers. But if you have 3 farmers, what is the trick?
I don't understand. But
well, so I think you need to maybe discuss this.
If the association was able to make $35 million in 5 years, how come the standard of the farmers remain the same?
Well, the farmers might have to answer that. Or maybe we need to, perhaps, I don't know.
And they can't do it because it was on the Banneker?
Maybe I'll have to get some, but not because it is in the Banneker doesn't mean it's true,
No, but the
farmer.
accountant, that was written.
Caller,
That was
caller,
written by the accountant of the
caller,
board, you know.
caller.
Mm.
Not because in the barnacle is true. If you didn't get it in a meeting, it not on the minutes. They could disassociate themselves with the state.
No, they can because the
okay.
chairman, the accountant name was signed under the document.
Caller,
Mm.
you in tongue long. You see British American and other companies come here, SGL, one amount of bright people lose their money, including NIS, the credit unions and the trade unions.
Yeah, but the accountant will have to answer to the question.
Caller, that is why we have to ask if this thing is a Ponzi scheme. Is it genuine? Stop saying because these bright people name on it it's come on. Paul was a bandit, Saul was a bandit, and Christ had to blind him to convert him to Paul. And you know that? Yes, thank you, Carl.
Okay.
Yes, my brother. So obviously, and I see my friend Onisto on this thing, he's saying I'm not, he has a number. He said the letter, speaking about the letters people send concerning the termination. And he asked if you did a personal investigation, plus did you know why the people received the letter, and you didn't answer me, and I'm asking you these questions once again. Honesto, you is the master of disinformation. When Germany, in the World War II, Germany had Goebbels for propaganda. In the revolution, they had it the name mobilization. You is a master of disinformation in the country. So this question you're asking me is that individuals lost their job. And the letters quoted SRNO, I think 74-126. People lost their job. Government, the present government promised when they was in opposition that they would make these people permanent. It doesn't matter to me if people in the top echelons of society lose their job. I don't waste time with them at all. If you have a master's degree, a doctorate, a PhD, and you lose your job, I show no interest in you. The people who you fighting down is the ordinary folks. And it's difficult because these are the ones that might put on green and yellow the most. A lot of the big wheels in the country, you don't see them with green and yellow, you know. You have never seen me openly flaunting any political party. And I said before, that doesn't mean I ain't political. I'm more political than a lot of politicians. That's why politicians losing their seat, you know, because they're not political. But you cannot choose, you cannot go after the people in the lowest socio-economic standing. And we have so much people in Grenada agreeing with that. Some of the robbery that's going on in Trinidad, I don't have no problem with it, you know. We make them thieves. We treat them bad. We don't want the children succeed in school. It's the same thing we're doing in Grenada. 70% of the children that exit schools in Grenada cannot meet the minimum requirement. 70%. Only 2 political leaders in the history of Grenada that took the time off and paid special attention to these people: Eric Matthew Gary and Kit Mitchell. All the other politicians failed where the people from the lower socioeconomic strata was concerned. And after they introduced the Imani program, which is the best program that has been instituted in Grenada, we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good day.
Yes, my brother,
Do
welcome.
you know the reason why for the postponement of the farmers?
No, I have no clue. Really? I have no clue.
Here we go. But I don't know how else go about selecting them because I don't know share that on the radio.
Normally what they do, they I think the Ministry of Agriculture normally facilitates the process. But normally you will find Cocoa Association, Nutmeg Association, the fishes, the people in fisheries other legal organization, they would lobby them and they would bring them to a meeting and they would have their delegates and they would vote on the issue. Sometimes it end up to 2 or 3 persons.
So the local farmers doesn't really have any input with the cooperation or bringing forward.
Some local remember when farmers was planting banana, they didn't used to go in meeting. They planting banana done. Some of the local farmers don't know what's going on. And some of the farmers who that making noise, if they find the noise you're making is in their interest, they go tell you. If the noise you're making is not in their interest, they don't want you to know. You see, up to today, there are some people in Grenada that have a cell phone and they have a group chat and Cocoa Association telling them when they're buying cocoa. But all are trying to get on the chat.
I know about it because our friend, he is getting information to a next friend what the group, so he that's how I was get to know what's going on.
One used to give me the information, but when I start speaking on radio, they don't give me no information again. So sometimes when they're buying cocoa, for the longest while, I can't finish the cocoa. By the time I eat.
Yeah, a guy, somebody, and he said that apparently they send some tell you want to be talking for the next 20 years. That remind me of Glenn. Because I remember when NC came into power, Glenn say, with them all Mr. Alamer return back into office, they meet old men, and within less than 5 years they return.
That
remind me. Just how he said the person called that for you. They just he remind me the same thing to you. Just how Glenn only said the same thing and take him.
Yes, thank you. Don't bother them. And once you like to be in the rum shop. And I was the president of the Rum Drinkers Association once. So we don't mind talking. When you go in the rum shop, it's talk we go there for. So nothing is wrong with that, whether you talk for the rest of your life or you talk. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome. Yes, my brother, welcome.
So who farmers just know
they have a... You heard what I said? Let me repeat it for you. Let me repeat it for you. Let me repeat what I said for you.
I do not mean nothing, Mr. Pierre. But I just have to keep your what you see, you know what I mean?
They have a chart. Some farmers is on the chart. So they know when to go. But somebody used to tell me.
Because if I have chat and thing and I tell you know. But I don't know anybody, so that's why.
How you know that? How you does know anybody?
Never mind. I will tell you when I meet you later.
All right, thank you, caller. Yes, thank you. Thank you, caller. Yes, you see the same thing. They have a chat. Society. So some farmers know when they're buying cocoa. Some farmers know, but not everybody. So I don't know. So this caller give me a little hands up once or twice. But when he vexes me on the radio, he don't give me information. So, one farmer used to go and look at the board. Yes, caller, welcome.
I did not think I did Mr. Pedro. I visited some of the delegates. We have to go and look for the high price for the cocoa. Because we have to look for more for our produce. 160, and if they vex, that's a business. You sell cocoa, I sell cocoa, don't sell cocoa, you know what I mean? How you sell cocoa? But you have some of them, they don't get pick ready to go on the
what happened? You not on the board? They didn't pick you?
They get pick ready to go on the delegate board. Yes? And I came to meeting once or twice. When the meeting finished, the other one was keeping the meeting on the table, whatever. When the 5 o'clock or the 4 o'clock meeting finished, they come in the midst of we farmers, but I would not repair that word. I would not say what I saw and what I listened.
Right,
so I said in my mind, I did trick to them back inside.
Okay.
You see, every 5 years.
So you're not on the board, caller?
Eh?
You're not a delegate?
No.
How they could leave you out?
I don't want to because the Apollo go on this. I need more.
What you said, the Apollo was the team?
I need more price for my cocoa. So I cannot go and sit down on the bench or the chair or the stool. No.
Carla, tell us how you just know when they're buying cocoa.
Mr. Pierre, I will tell you when I meet you later.
All right, thank you.
One more thing. No, I didn't finish it yet.
Punch,
you
punch,
still there?
punch.
Yeah. You see now some parts now. You see, like every 5 years, election come up, we're gonna vote like the same party and party who make 15 and 20 and 30 years. It's so the thing going on. It's so this cocoa board and this nutmeg board going on because they want pick back to be on the board. And I tell you, we have to tell them out there. Huh?
Caller, you there a little inside, even though you're not in the center. You're there in the inside. You have information we don't have.
Sorry about me. No, what they getting?
What happened? You buy shares already, caller? You buy shares in quality producers?
Well,
you have your certificate. You buy shares already?
Yes.
You got 3 shares already?
Not as yet. It's just recently I heard that there was
well, you have some things they ain't telling you, caller.
But I have to know and everything. It could be brown, hairy color. I will security itself. You cannot hide nothing from us.
Caller. They have the quality producers Grenada Limited chocolate and they're selling shares. And it's $10 for a share. And each farmer could buy 3 shares. And they prepare for 50,000 farmers to buy shares. So try and see if you could get some information about that for us.
But some farmers get in and don't get me. Who get last year.
Yes, by the 28th of September, this thing you can buy again. So go and see if you could buy some shares and tell us.
I'm glad you know that on the 28th of September. I'm glad you know that. Have a good day, all in all.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you. Yes, you see, it's important, the co-association. But some difficulties. They seem to have a chat. So that some farmers always know when what is the roster. And if they feel like they give you a little hands up. Otherwise, you have to go on the buying point. Where they write it with chalk on the board. That is how you go and read it, you know. You go on the buying point and where they write it in chalk. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
I personally told Mr. Hastic, who is the general manager of Cocoa, that the way they give information for buying cocoa, people knowing who Culture Man had just spoke. And I said that you have.
But how Culture Man knowing?
I don't know. But you have paid people that should be giving that information. I personally told him that in a meeting. And he said he doesn't mind Culture Man giving it because it is helping them to spread in your life. I have no problem with Culture Man giving. I have no problem with Culture Man giving. I have no problem with Culture Man giving. I am saying the board should have somebody authorized to be giving those information. And that is one of the big problems with the board. Make it clear. I want to make it clear. I have no problem with Culture Man announcing when they speak. But
well, I'm glad, caller, we're glad when he give us a little
I'm
info.
glad too. But I'm saying there are people that the association pays.
So now I hope Culture Man could help us understand the quality producers Grenada living. How many cocoa farmers in Grenada? Because they cater for 50,000 farmers. How many cocoa farmers are qualified? Because not all the farmers in Grenada that are qualified to buy shares. What will happen to the remaining shares from the 150? Because if a farmer could only buy 3 shares, and you have shares for 50,000 farmers, and you have about 3,000 farmers, and not all the 3,000 farmers is qualified, can I get a little thing and tell us about it?
Well, what may happen is that the big man that has the money might be able to buy some shares.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Right. But let me tell you something about the selection of the farmers' representative now in the Senate. Now, what you say is true that the board, the commodity, the agriculture, the cocoa board, nutmeg board, fisheries, and other organizations that may have to do with farming selects
somebody. I am hoping that in the selection, I understand they were supposed to have been the selection yesterday. It didn't come up and they put it for Monday. I am hoping in the selection that is not party hawk that is getting
Come
there.
on.
I am hoping.
Come on.
Yes, I'm saying again, I'm hoping.
You got to be
That is not an
realistic.
NMP, you don't select somebody as an NMP
You
or
have
as
to.
an NDC.
You have to be realistic. Unless the farmers in Grenada start to demand that the Cocoa Association start to lobby, these organizations have never lobbied in the interest of the farmers. And all they have to do is to follow the trade union. The trade union lobbies strongly, irrespective of the government that they for their trade union. Sometimes they blackmail them, they maul them, sometimes they make a deal with them. But the trade union always lobby for themselves. The business representative lobby for themselves. The farmers organization has had given the worst representation in the Senate all over the years. And unless farmers change their attitude and want something different, it's the same thing that will happen.
Well, I can't doubt you, but I'm saying if we're going to handpick our NMP, if we're going to handpick our NDC, we're going to go back in the same thing again.
Yeah.
The person going on the board must be selected by the farmers and not a handpick thing.
Well, normally the farmers select them. You have delegates and they go.
The means of selecting them seems to have some problem.
Well, yes, you lobby. There are some people. There are some people who even.
And we handpick, and we see it happen in the Senate for the labor selection already. We see it happen for farmer selection already. And if that is continuing, it means that representation for farmers would not be what we expect. And I make that point clear.
All right.
Representative for the agriculture sector would not be.
Yes. You see, we could make a difference in the country. I've always said the farmers have to mind their business. The trade union seeks their interests all the time, every time. There was a time the trade union corner Mr. Blaze. They make him walk the plank alone. He said the telephone company to pay the workers and to meet current expenditure. Then the government go on a selling spree. They sell the electricity company. They sell the hotel. They sell the bank. And then they sell 13 pieces of property to meet current expenditure because they fed it to it. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Go right ahead.
You look at this quality of man is the PRO. He's just saying snappy too.
You have the inside information on the periphery and in the shade. Because when he know they're buying, if he bongs me up, he telling me they're buying. So he does have a little information in the periphery. But I think in this real nuclei, they just leave him out.
But you see, the thing is, all you as farmers must demand, get them out, get rid of them.
The farmers
only lobby. They could only go and demonstrate for something that doesn't concern them, for teachers to get back dock salary. That is all they could do.
Yeah, but remember, the trade union is a powerful organization that lobbies strongly. And the trade union smart. Sometimes the trade union demonstrate, sometimes they make a deal in the back. You cannot blame them. The trade union is not about productivity. The trade union seeks the interests of the workers. That's all they do. And you cannot blame them for that. If they could have convinced the government to give them a deal for the support, that's all right. Nothing's wrong with that. The farmers must seek the farmers' interests. And if you have a good representative in the farmers, he always have to be pushing the minister. Because that is one of the ways, if he turn a combatant, the minister could just ignore him. So the farmers have to seek the farmers' interests. Now, simple things like this, Quality Producers Grenada Limited. There's a number of questions here that needs to be answered, but I don't know if the Cocoa Association is going to adopt the same policy now as need to know.
Well,
Based
that's
upon a
exactly what's
need to
gonna
know
happen.
basis.
That is exactly what's going to happen.
I want to wake up some of the journalists that agree with that, because Caribbean journalists will laugh at you. You can have a share, a quality producers, Grenada Limited, 600,000 shares, but 150,000 shares for the farmers. But one farmer could only buy 3 shares. So that's 50,000 farmers.
Who doing the math?
Well, I don't know. And if you did not give the farmers back pay, because you say you want to invest in this thing, and you made 35 million once you said gross, it can't be profit, it got to be gross. No. Well, who owns the company you selling shares give?
Exactly.
Well, who owns the company? Supposed to be farmers. So why not divide the 600,000 shares for the farmers? Because if you sell 600,000 by 10, it's a good bit of money. But what the farmer to do? Ask your little children in school to work out that for you. 600,000 shares multiplied by 10 to see what you're going to work. You know, it don't make sense. We have children, our children go to national college. They come back, they tell you they have an associate degree in psychology and management. What you going to do with that? If you can even advise your father, your parents on these shares and share capital, what are you going to do with that?
Waste the time.
You have a degree, and sometimes they can't even manage their boyfriend. The boyfriend only have a birth certificate. They have a whole degree, master's degree. Your boyfriend have a birth certificate. You can manage you. What are you doing with that? You can't spend all these years in school to get a degree in psychology and management and business management. You will show, if you go and ask Kenny Larson for a job and he tell you chop up saltfish, you will do it. You will pack up things on shelf with a degree. Already you heard people campaigning they're not supposed to be doing debushing because they had a degree.
Yeah. and I hear they're going to open the bush in Monday.
But no, they can't open the bushing, they're against the bushing.
It can't be the bushing, they want to call it the bush out.
It has to be a different name. It could be road agricultural engineers for the developmental process. You have to get a big name. You can't call it the bushing. They must change the name. It's unacceptable. You see, you cannot all these years object to the debushing. Say it is a scam. Say it is election thing. And you have to change the name. Maybe you could call it road engineers, some kind of thing. Agricultural cleaning engineers.
Roadside technician.
Roadside technician. But you cannot call it debushing. Thank you, caller. Right. Yes, and you can give us a call. And we have WhatsApp. So you can also WhatsApp your message. And we take calls from Facebook. Somebody said, and all them fake cleaning companies that were owned by ministers under different name benefiting millions from the past government. You have to deal with that. I'm not giving up on my party, which is the NNP. I want the supporters of the party to stand strong because things that was promised will not materialize. What we're speaking about there is not necessarily what the party do and what the party don't do. Parties have to learn to do their politics. And this is one of the reasons people hate Kit Mitchell, that Ralph Gonzalez, because these people understand politics. Kit Mitchell always win his seat. He's the only true politician, the only politician alive, the only political leader alive that has never lost his seat from 1984. When he ran for election in 72, he lost. When he came back in 84, he never lost that seat. And he wins the seat comfortably. Ralph Gonzalez is very successful in St. Vincent. So what happened to us is that the media and members of the opposition, and nothing is wrong with that, attack the winner. And over the years, they have gone over the success story mercilessly. And even NNP start to work on the same story. You have a leader who is successful. He's politically successful. When you go to politics, one of the first and foremost, you have to win your seat. If you want to help people, you have to win your seat. Dr. Keith Mitchell is the most successful politician in Grenada and the region. And all the attacks on him is a political envy. And you don't expect people losing to admire him. All the other leaders in Grenada lost their seat. George Bizan lost his seat. Ben Jones lost his seat. Tilman Thomas lost his seat. Joan Postle lost her seat. TGM run. And no TGM would run. From the time I see back shot, a little press conference, I say cannot handle criticism in Grenada. Otherwise, you end up with an underpants alone in press conference. So Dr. Keith Mitchell has been the most successful political leader in Grenada. Michael Baptiste loses it. And then my boy, he's a very good politician. Not so much a good team player, but he lost his seat. So for you to be successful, you must win your seat. And this is why, this is one of the reasons all this hate and this envy came out against the most successful politician in Grenada. In addition to that, he has put the interaction between politician and the media at an exceptionally high level. It's the first time in the history of Grenada you see a leader exposes himself to the media like that. After every cabinet session, they had a press conference. In addition to that, periodically, he entertained a number of media persons. And he always on the ground in different meetings, answering questions from people. This is a high standard. And it is in the interest of trade of journalists in Grenada to demand nothing less from any politician in Grenada. Anyone who decides to put up themselves from politics, for politics, must appreciate the high standard that has been set, because that is what makes democracy strong. When your leader could expose himself, he mustn't hide. This is a challenge we have with the nutmeg and cocoa board. They're hiding. You cannot get them in a press conference, they're hiding. Maybe the journalists have to go and look for them. Our journalists have to take some time and go and look for the head of cocoa board and ask them how many cocoa farmers are qualified. How many cocoa farmers in Grenada? We see you authorize or delegate 150 shares for farmers. But why is it only 3 shares they could buy? And Grenada don't have 3,000 cocoa farmers. So if 3,000 could only buy 3 shares, that's about 9,000 shares. What happened to the other shares? What happened? That's 9,000 shares. What happened to the other 141 shares? 41,000 shares. Who is going to get it? I mean, come on. If you say you're a journalist, this is a glaring issue. The head of the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture, I think, was a member of the Nutmeg Association for years. So I would not be surprised if you are one of the mastermind of quality producers. Now, when you push yourself in politics, I mean, that's why Keith Mitchell always encouraging some of the young people, set up yourself, educate yourself, make sure you have a source of income before you come in politics. One friend of mine, he want to go to politics. His wife warned him, don't go. Because she was a very friendly person when she was young. And she don't want her sins come to haunt her. She said from the time you say you go to politics, I live in you. So you have to keep yourself quiet. I tell him, sit down on the blessed assurance and don't go. So if you decide to go to politics, you have to prepare to open your closet door. And the Minister of Agriculture, you can't get away from this one because you've been involved in the Nutmeg Association and consequently the Cocoa Association for a lot of years. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are part of the mastermind of Quality Producers Limited. You all, come on. Ask some questions because I will continue asking you these questions on the radio. I generally try to provoke discussion. And you all need to answer these questions. Let me call on the line and call you the last call of the day. So you have to be brief and punch.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It says freedom of so give the chance to okay, as long as we don't go over time and do and be respectful. All right.
Yeah, well, people could say freedom of speech, but if you don't use it, use it. You see, the infrastructure is placed. We have a lot of radio station. Dr. Kit Mitchell freed up the telecommunication network. And he has set a high standard by interacting with the media and the public. So we must not drop back from that. If we do, then you're going to lose the pluses that you have. You know, we could say freedom of speech, but if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And that is why I like to provoke discussion, encourage people to discuss issues. Some of you children intelligent. They have associate degree in psychology and management, and they have degree in business management. Go home and ask them about this Quality Producers Limited. 600,000 shares authorized, 150,000 shares for the farmers, but the farmer could only buy 3 shares. And they must go to St. George's to buy. They can't buy through sales. Like when they sell cocoa, you take all the $30 for them. Yes? So we come to the end of it. You have a call on the line? All right. Thank you very much for being with us today as usual. And we, our people in the social media, Facebook, and all that. Thank you very much.
Our forefathers came. Some see some bound in chains. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing your Caribbean pride, sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caricom. The great and diverse be our ethnicities. The bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
This is the latest news update produced by Triple N. Details when we get back.
The Rotary clubs in Grenada introduce the Good Neighbor Initiative, a program designed to assist individuals and families who require short-term assistance with electricity bill payment and the cost associated with rewiring of homes due to fires and natural disasters. If you or someone you know is in need of help, please visit our website at www.goodneighborinitiative.org. The Good Neighbor Initiative, helping individuals and families with short-term electricity bill payments and electrical wiring. One neighbor at a time.
Welcome back. Locally, the Grenada Tourism Authority invites all tourism enterprise operators to apply for the renewal of license to operate in the industry under the GTA Act No. 42 of 2013. Renewal of license will commence on August 22nd, 2022 and continues through September 30th, 2022. In the region, in St. Lucia, underprivileged parents are getting assistance from the Ministry of Education with back-to-school expenses. We get more in this report.
This time, the Ministry of Education is focusing on a book bursary to assist underprivileged parents. Despite the advent of ebooks, parents, in addition to other back-to-school expenses, are still forced to grapple with the added expense of ever-changing book lists, hence the reason for the ministry's intervention. Parents who qualify are recommended by school principals or the district representatives.
We have in the book bursary program where the less fortunate or the people with needs come and we give them books. Yeah, so it's like a program every year. The principal would put you on the list or your district rep, and then you would come with the list and then you would get the books.
To deal with a large number of persons converging on book distribution points, the ministry decided to have the recipients separated into districts, making the groups more manageable.
Last year we had a big crowd, but we decided to shift it, put it by districts. We separated by districts. So we're doing District 4 and tomorrow we start in District 3. So you can see the crowd basically dwindle. Right now we barely have people because the last set for District 4 just coming to collect. So tomorrow you will see a bigger crowd because, people from District 3, that would be Marsha, Avo Maria, RC, and these schools.
Organizers say the new method is proving to be more effective.
Around the globe, federal agents raid pharmacy as part of opioid crackdown. Here are the details.
Federal agents on Tuesday raided a Miami area pharmacy suspected of illegally selling prescription painkillers. A source familiar with the probe told Reuters the site may have been the largest opioid pill mill in Florida. Reuters witnessed more than a dozen officers executing a search warrant at Health Plus Pharmacy in Miramar, Florida. The agencies on scene included the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Health and Human Services Inspector General's office. A source told Reuters that FBI agents were also involved. Government records show the pharmacy has been in business since at least 2006. It's the latest target in the Justice Department's ongoing efforts to crack down on the illegal diversion of prescription painkillers, which have helped fuel the nation's opioid epidemic. A source who asked to remain anonymous told Reuters the pharmacy was suspected of illegally selling Oxycontin, a highly addictive painkiller. Reuters also witnessed agents execute search warrants at 2 private homes, identified as the publicly listed addresses of 2 Health Plus pharmacy owners. In recent years, the Justice Department has aggressively prosecuted medical professionals suspected of illegally supplying painkillers in an effort to combat opioid prescription abuses. The U.S. opioid crisis has caused more than 500,000 overdose deaths over the past 2 decades, including more than 80,000 in 2021 alone, according to government data.
And in sports, British number 1 Emma Raducanu put a dampener on Serena Williams' farewell tour after trashing the American great in the Cincinnati Open first round. This ends the latest update of news. Thank you for listening.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour. Welcome aboard Flight Real FM 91.9, where we keep it real. So fasten your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Destination Spicemas, our final destination.
It will be a must to remember. First carnival back in Grenada. This one will be greater than ever. When we get the chance again to free up on the road and jump up in a vet